This is the tutorial for the abstract painting assignment. It covers most of the brush tools and some other tools that are related, like eraser, pencil, and stuff like that. It should be a fun assignment. There are two different brush panels, so I feel like I need to introduce you to them. Once you're introduced, you can play around with them. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make a new file. I want you to be very aware of what I say, so you can go back and forth. I'm going to go to File, at the top menu bar, where it says the Apple and Photoshop, Edit Image, blah, blah, blah. Go to New, which is the first one. And now it's asking you for a name. I'm going to call it Abstract Painting. Now, if you were naming it in my class, if you're one of my students, you're going to put your last name, Jones, Katie, Abstract Painting. You must title things like this or I won't know who did it. Now, there's a size there. It's in pixels right now. If I change it to inches, that's enormous. 18 by 16 inches? I don't think so. So let's go over here to the presets for a second. We'll go to the photo preset. And 2 by 3 is little and it's landscape. Landscape is fine, but I'm going to go up here to portrait 5 by 7. And the one thing, and I want you to pay attention to this, please, I'm going to change is the resolution. I'm going to change it to 72. This isn't going to be printed. Unless you want to print it, you can leave it at 300. Because I wouldn't print anything on my home printer at less than 300. Some people say 240 is okay, and it may be, but I'm going to leave it at 300. So we've got 5 inches width, 7 inches height. That's, if you printed it out, it would be that size no matter what the resolution is. Resolution, though, needs to be about 300 when you have a print piece because you need the pixel depth. That means the pixels are littler and there's more pixels per square inch, per inch. So, right now we're not going to bother with printing. I'm going to leave instead of transparent or pick a different color or something, I'm going to leave the background white. I'm going to click OK. And there is my canvas. I'm going to go over here. Now remember, in your panels, I'm over to the right where the layers panels. I'm going to click on the word layers and drag the panel out here. Notice the background layer is locked. And I think, unless you lock it yourself, let me test this for a minute. Can I paint on it? Yes, I can. Command Z to undo. I'm going to unlock the background layer and call it BG for background. Okay. Now I'm going to lock it. See up here? Here's your layers panel. It says, I'm going to make that brush tip smaller by the bracket key, the left bracket key. There we go. There's we haven't gotten into that, but it deals with different issues about layers. This is blend modes. We're going to talk more about this. This is opacity, and this is fill. And we will talk about these. These are different locking modes. Right now, the locking mode we want is we don't want it painted on, and we don't want it moved. I think not wanting it moved will keep it from being painted on. Yeah. Let me go back here. Unlock and paint. It's still, so you can just make it so you can't paint on it, but you can move it but I'm just going to do the heavy duty lock here. So this is the lock. I'm doing this, brush tool could not, because I do not want you to paint on this layer at all. So I would save it at this point. I would go up here and save it into a folder on your desktop. Save it if you're on your computer at home, save it there. I'm just going to go to my desktop. I'm going to make a new folder. Karen's exercises. And I'm going to put this in there. So now it's saved. I have a background of white. And the first panel I'm going to show you, or the first brush panel, is up here. Up here. This is called the options bar. I'm going to repeat things over and over again because that's the way you learn. I know it's sometimes redundant, especially for those of you that have had Photoshop. But I am going to paint with a different brush and style on each layer, so I can move them around, I can change their opacity, I can change their blend modes, and I can also add layer styles. You are going to name each layer. I really want to see you experiment. So down here at the bottom of your layers panel is a little icon right next to the trash can that looks like a piece of paper. Click. There's a new layer. Now, this is the first panel I'm going to show you. This is a brush panel. And I don't want 90. I'm going to move it down to about 39. It's got 0 hardness. That means it's soft. So and to get out of here, I have to click over here. So I'm just going to go, and I'm going to call it, this shouldn't be too complicated, soft 39. Just to let me know that that's what it was. It was a soft edge brush. It was at 39. Now, the next brush, I'm going to pick a different color. I'm going to get a bright green. Okay. I'm going to change soft 39 to 100% hardness and 64. Go over here. I'm going to go, and you see there's hard and soft. See the difference? Call this hard 60. Okay. So there's 2 layers. I can move them if I go to the move tool, which is up here at the top of the tools bar. I can move this layer over here. I can go up here and change the opacity so you can see through it now. I can go here to where the blend modes are. See all these blend modes? I generally experiment. I want to see you experimenting with blend modes, opacity modes, fill modes, stuff like that. All that stuff. Okay, so, and I might sneeze, so excuse me if I do. There's overlay. Actually, I think I'm going to pause this. And yes, I did have to sneeze. That's overlay. That's soft light. Screen. So this is using blend modes. I've only got 2 layers here. The blend mode, this layer blends with the bottom layer. If I put a blend on here, it's going to blend. It may not even blend with this because it's locked, but it always blends with the layer beneath it. Layer or layers. So I want you to experiment with blend modes. I do go through each layer, so be aware of that. I'm going to make a new layer. Okay, here's a new layer. I'm going to get over here. I'm going to pick the color in the color panel. In the color strip, I'm going to pick a cyan. And I'm going to go back over to the brush. Here's the brush. And here's my choices. Now, the one thing that's different, and there's another brush panel, by the way, and I really want to show it to you. With this brush panel, you can add brush libraries that already exist in Photoshop. You can make your own brush libraries and add them here. Right over here, it's showing you the various tips. For example, if you use a bristle brush, it's going to give you a preview of the brush. So we'll use a bristle brush here. See, that's the bristle brush. And it does give you the preview here. It doesn't do that with all brushes. So I'm going to go cyan bristle. BR is fine. I just want you to get in the habit of naming your layers too. I also want you to use layer styles. Remember how you can double click the layer and it'll bring up this dialog box. And I think I'm going to add a bevel. See how it looks now that it's beveled? It looks like thick paint was kind of put on there. So I'm going to say okay. And see, I can see when I look at this that you tried an effect. Let's see, I'm going to make a new layer. And I am going to get a different brush. This time I want to show you how to add brush libraries. This little gear at the upper right corner, it shows you all the brush libraries that come with Photoshop. So let's try, let's see, faux finish brushes. Append. I always append. If you don't, it gets rid of everything there. I mean, you can reset it, but I just like to add it to the bottom so I have everything. So these were, I forget which one I added. Which one did I add? I think it was faux finish brushes or natural. Let's try faux finish and see if I get the same thing again. Yeah, I did get the same thing again. You can delete these. You hold the Option key, but I'm not sure how to delete masses of them. Hold the Option key if you're on a Mac. Alt key if you're on a PC. See how I have all these? Here's a 65. There's a 65. Well, they don't look the same. No. Well, if you want to delete something, if you hold that key, see the little scissor? I'm going to get rid of that, get rid of that, get rid of you. So I don't know if you can get rid of multiples though. So I'm going to paint with this weird looking thing. I have a new layer. If you hover over it, it'll tell me what brush it is. Mesh large. So I'm going to I have a new layer. I'm going to call it mesh. Mesh L for large or 1 or whatever. I'm going to get a pinky color in here and I'm going to paint like that. Okay then. Let's say I want to add an outer glow. I can also add an a layer style, excuse me, by going down to the FX and say I want to add, let's see, do we want an inner glow? I'll go with outer glow. Outer glow. It defaults to this yellow. See? And you can soften it by moving size. And you can change softer to precise. That looks kind of crappy to me. Let's see. Let's take spread in. There we go. I don't like this yellow. I'm going to make it, I'm going to pick pink off of here and then go to a really light pink in here. Okay. So that I like better. Okay. Okay. And so I'm going to go to the Move tool by hitting the V key. I'm going to move this here. I'm going to change the fill rather than the opacity this time. What the fill does versus the opacity is The fill only changes the object's color. It doesn't change the drop shadow. It doesn't change the glow. See, if I had used the opacity, it would change everything. See that? So I'm just going to use the fill on this one so that the glow stays there. Glow almost looks white. It could have a little more color. So now I have 4 layers. I better save. Command S or Control S on the PC. Now, the thing about getting brushes over here is you can constantly add libraries. You can change them from here and all that, but there's a whole another brush, and you can actually use blend modes with brushes. I could make an empty layer. I could pick, let me pick a better brush. Let's see. Let me pick this brush. Which brush is this? Let me hover over it. Plastic wrap brush. Oh, that's interesting. I've never used that. Plastic wrap brush. I'm going to get a different color, a yellow, because I haven't used yellow. And I didn't change the blend mode for the brush. So now it's changed to darken. Same layer. Doesn't look like it did much difference. Let's see if we change it to hard light. Boy, I'm not getting the results I want. So let's see if we change the whole thing to hard light and what happens in layers. I guess it just doesn't do that much when you're working with yellow. So you can't, the one thing I want you to be aware of though, and this has happened to me, let's see, let's go to difference and paint. No. Is that sometimes if you're working on a computer, somebody might have changed it up here and you're painting away and you're not getting what you want. I'm going to go to a new layer and try a different color. I'm going to get red. I'm going to get a different brush. I'm going to get the leaf brush. And I'm going to change difference to normal. And I'm going to change normal to color burn. Oop, that really made it go away. Screen, nope. Vivid light. Wow. Hard mix. It's really getting rid of all of them, huh? Overlay. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to go to move and move it so it's over some things. Wow. So see, you have to experiment. I'm not hard light. There. I see those. I could also go, I don't like, there's too much yellow here, so I'm going to the yellow layer, and I am going to go a couple down, 1, 2, 3 down from the brush and get the eraser tool, because there's just too much yellow here. I can make the brush bigger by hitting the right bracket key. I just don't want that much yellow there. I don't use the eraser a lot, and once we start working with layer masks, neither will you. So I'm going to put the leaf brush in here. Leaf. And then I'm going to make a new layer. And I want to show you another, the eraser up here, it has a brush, a pencil, and a block. See, there's the block. So if I wanted to erase the yellow with a block, boom. If I wanted to erase it with a pencil, oops, sorry, pencil. Pencil's always hard edge. If you look at your pencils here, everything's hard edge with a pencil. Notice there's no soft edge. So if you don't see your soft edge brushes, somebody put it into pencil. So there, let's see, I should go back and go. Oops, there we go. See, all hard edge. And so you know it's in pencil. I don't work with it in pencil that much. It does come in handy occasionally. Okay, I have a new layer here for a purpose because there's a whole nother brush panel. You can get it by clicking this little tiny icon here, or you can go under Window, Brushes, and there it is. It is different from this. First of all, even though you have these same tips here, so as long as you have tip selected, you can see the tips here, but you cannot add libraries here. You have to go over here to add more libraries. So over here, whatever libraries I added over there on the other one are here, but if I want to add another one, I have to go back over here and say, okay, I want the special effects brushes. Append. There's the special effects brushes at the very bottom. There's a butterfly and a duck and stuff like that. Ducks not in a row. And now you'll see, oops. Let me see, let me close this and reopen it this way. And where's my ducks not in a row? They didn't put it here? How weird. Okay, well, I just learned something. Oh, there it is. Of course it is. I was going to say, that's weird. Okay, well, I did say that's weird, didn't I? Dark blue. New layer. I'm going to put duck. And I'm going to make it bigger. And I'm going to, there's the ducks. So I just painted with a bunch of ducks. Notice there's spacing. See the ducks? Okay, let's get a new layer. Let's do some more things over here. See all this stuff here? Transfer, color dynamics, scattering, shape dynamics, smoothing. Some of these you're going to have to try yourself. I experiment sometimes when I want something. I'm going to start with just a regular circle here because I'm going to unclick all of these. I want to show you the spacing. Let's see, let's get another color, purpley color. And all a paint stroke is, as I move spacing along, is a bunch of dots. So if you need a dotted line, here, dotted line, dotted line. And now you've got a dotted line. I would save this, and you could add a drop shadow. Where's the drop shadows? Drop shadow. And make it a little bit softer. And then bevel it. And make it chiseled. And click OK. So there we've done another. So you see how I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's do another one. All right. I'm going to get the butterfly. And let's see what happens. Let's see. Let's get a slightly different color. See, the butterfly, they're way too close together. So I'm going to make the spacing more like that. And I'm going to go down here. So that's better for the butterfly. But I want to see, and I always forget which, I think it's color dynamics and hue jitter. I want to see it change hues. See, look, hue jitter. I'm getting all different colors of butterflies. So that's kind of cool. I mean, I could name this butterfly hue jitter. So there's another cool thing. And then another layer. Let's see. Let's try wet edges. I think it's good to try wet edges. We have to go to brush tip shape so we can see the tips with something that's more round and not soft edge so you can really see what's happening. Now, we're getting so many layers. I want to keep all these layers. I just don't, they're interfering. So I want to turn off the eyeballs for a minute here. And I'm going to, I still have color dynamics here. I'm going to turn that off because I really want you to see the wet edges. Doesn't seem to be showing the wet edges very good with that color. Let's get a different color. I'm going to say wet edges 1. Wet 1. I'm going to make another one. See how easy it is to like start to build layers? Let's try a soft edge brush. Yep, that might work way better. So let's get another color. Let's get a yellowy green. Okay, see the wet edges? See how it's wet edges? And since this is above this, I'm going to put yellow wet edges. And to make your teacher happy, I'm going to go multiply. And see how it brings through. We used a blend mode. We used wet edges. Okay, let's make another one. I'm going to get another one of those bristle brush. Here they are. Here's the bristle brush. Flat fan. I'm going to put flat fan. Flat fan. Let's see, I'll pick a color. I'll use the sliders here. And I'm going to paint across here. Flat fan. Yay. And then I'm going to go to the blend mode, and I'm going to go down here to soft light. No, nothing shows. Vivid light. That's kind of cool. That's not so bad. See? Yeah, let's leave vivid light. So there's a blend mode there. And you could even add that. Vivid light. Oop, vivid light. Okay, so there we have it. Now how many do we have? And like, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 12. One more. Here's another layer. I'm going to get some kind of interesting. Here, I'm going to paint with whatever this circular thing is. What is it anyway? Sampled tip. Sampled tip. Ta-da. Now, things I don't use that much, but because I do work the news, we use it. And it lives with, here's the blur brush, which doesn't work as good as the Gaussian blur filter. And there's the sharpen tool, and that doesn't work as well as the unsharp mask filter. But the smudge tool can be used, it's like finger painting. So I am going to, well first, before I use smudge, I'm going to paint something. So I'm going to paint, I forgot about that. I'm going to paint these little weird little things. Then I'm going to go down here to the finger, which lives with the blur and the sharpen and all that stuff. And now I'm going to make it bigger, and I'm going to start to smudge it. See what smudge does? When I do a sample of what we do for our news, it's an extra credit assignment. I may be making it a credit assignment. I don't know yet. Because it shows all kinds of format stuff. I digress. So here's smudge. So what I would do is I'd say sampled tip, and aren't I cool, smudge. All right? So it's just, I mean, you can turn on the TV and do this, but just do enough. Okay, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay, let's do 12 more. Okay. Let's get we're going to get out of the bristle brushes, and let's go to one of these kind of grungy brushes. Well, it's sure not giving me a lot of options over here. Maybe, why isn't it giving me any of these options? Spacing, size. Oh, I want a new layer, that's for sure. New layer. I don't transfer. Let's take everything off. Huh, That's interesting. Why is it not giving me what I want? Hardness? Softness? No. Where's texture and all that stuff? Oh, is it because I'm not in the... All right. See what I just did? I'm thinking, where's all my brush stuff? Well, I wasn't in the brush tool. I was in the smudge tool. Okay, I don't want wet edges anymore. I want to see what texture does. And I want a different brush. I'm going to pick a different brush from here since I've got that all locked up there. Just a regular brush. Texture. Texture. Okay, let's see what it does. Let's get cyan. All right, I don't see any texture. Texture each tip. That's interesting. I just don't. Depth jitter. Huh. Dual brush. Scattering. Okay, I'm gonna put texture with a question mark because I can't see what it did. So let's go to, we can also get a new layer up here, a new layer, and I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, so I'll just say okay. And what's brush? It looks like brush pose. Maybe just, let's see, build up with noise. Let's do noise. Noise and dual brush and texture and scattering and dynamics. And I'm going to get green. Whoa, that's trippy. Okay, let's just go scatter. And I'm going to add a drop shadow. How about an inner shadow? There you go, inner shadow. And what we could even do is go change the opacity a little bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know there's more. It's a lot. Maybe I should have 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, let's make new layer. Let's call it, let's go to brush, let's call it okay. Brush tips and hover over this one. What is this one? Sample tip. And if you start sampled tip and pick a different color and paint, and it's still in scatter, next time I'll turn off scatter and texture and leave dual brush. I'm going to do a new one, new layer, okay. I'm going to go up here and get, let's see, what's this? Falling ivy leaves. I'm going to paint on here. Wow, that's so strange. That's falling ivy leaves. Maybe because I've got noise on. And we should space them out so we can see them. And we should make them larger, I think. Really? Not larger? They're so tiny. That's very odd. Okay, falling ivy leaves. Falling ivy leaves. It's weird. I'm going to turn off some of these because that one's got me confused. I want to solve this. New layer. I'm going to get a different color. Ivy leaves 2. Ivy leaves 2. And it's still purple? Oh, because I didn't change the color. There. Now it's yellow? What's the deal with this? Why is it? Let's change the size to... Wow. I guess we'd better move the spacing closer. Honestly, you might find a reason, there might be a good design reason for this brush, but I don't know. New layer, and you can start, moving forward fast. Noise, no, I'm not even going to do noise. I'm just going to find another brush. I'm going to find a bristle. Bristle, they developed the bristle brushes to make it look more like, or feel more like painting. The one thing is, you're probably going to feel more like you're painting if, oh, this one's really light, and I don't see the opacity. If it ever looks really light and you don't think it should be, maybe the opacity's down. I just spelled bristle wrong, I'm pretty sure. Did I? Hover over. Oh, flat blunt. Okay, flat. All right. It may be the brush, but it's not. But it is the brush. See, normal, no blend modes, nothing. So this is what this brush paints like. Another new layer. Okay. I'm gonna go up here. This looks like, what is this? Erodible square. Okay, this is one I've never used. Erodible square. And some of the projects that you do in here, experiment. Just let me know. This isn't, I don't know what's erodible about it. What's erodible about it? Let's try it on a new layer. Like I said, sometimes, new layer, erodible square. I don't know what, erodible. I'm going to put on transfer. Don't know what that is. Build up. Don't know what that is. Smoothing. Don't know what that is. Wet edges. Is that going to, that gave us the wet edges. Color dynamics. Gave it, ooh, that's kind of cool. Okay. Okay. New layer. Let's do a scattering. And I think we'd be done with it. Scattering. And I'll leave the same brush. And I'll pick a different color. Ooh, that's kind of cool. And I think we've got it. Let's add a satin something or other. I don't think I like that. I'm going to add bevel and emboss. That's kind of cool. I'll do that. Bevel and emboss. So let's see. I'm going to make these thumbnails smaller. Panel options, smaller, so I can see what's here. I still should make it smaller. I won't work with it smaller when I'm panel options. There, make it that much smaller. Let's see how many layers we have. 1, 2, 3. Oh, let's turn them on too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 22. Okay, well, I'm not sure what I have down, but I'm going to change it to at least 20. I think 22. But you know, in my class, if you do more than is asked for, that's what gets an A. So I really want to see you using all of these tools. I want to see you try the smudge brush. Here, look. Oh, we're on plastic wrap. Try the smudge brush. Just for the heck of it. And there you have the abstract painting. The nice thing about having everything on different layers is you can start moving things around. See? You can move this up to the top. Remember, everything's movable. when you keep it on separate layers. I'm going to move this green blob to the top, but I'm going to change the blend mode to overlay. Now that, look at that. Now you get a really much more interesting effect. Let's see what the ducks, oops, cancel. Let's see what the ducks look like up here. Cool. Okay, so I did 22 layers here. I'm going to go back and look at your assignment and see if I asked you for 25 layers. If I did, I'll change it to 20. And if I asked for only 15, I'll change it to 20. So have fun with it, and I'll see you at the next lesson. Have a good day.